So today is the third, I believe, episode of the summer story times. So this is just a series where I talk about anything and everything for every Friday during my month of summer so that I can get into the habit of posting more. So today's subject is actually going to be about social media and getting over your fear of being perceived and your fear of being judged and your fear of putting yourself out there. So this fear, this belief that like everybody is going to think that you're cringe or posting this and like you're not going to be successful, those are really like limiting mindsets. And so I'm going to help you talk through those and help, be able to break from those. So this will be kind of like a little therapy session. So by the way, disclaimer, if you hear like a little voice, I'm watching PR packaging hauls right now. Why not? Why? Because I love hauls. So yeah, I'm just watching a bunch of hauls right now. But anyway, let's get into it. So first off, your fear of getting perceived is holding you back. And I messed that up, but you get the point. The fear that you have of how you're going to be perceived is what is evidently going to hold you back. If you go out into social media or anything in general and you go in with that mindset that, oh, somebody's going to judge me and oh, what if they think I'm not doing this right and yada yada yada, that is going to hold you back because you're always going to be placing your social media or your events in life by the opinions of another person. And that kind of like loses your control over that event and puts it in that person's hands a little bit. And like, I know it doesn't really make sense, but like when you manifest something or you pray for something and you are confident that you will be able to achieve it, evidently you're just communicating and giving yourself that little validating push within prayer manifestations. That is setting the tone for your life to have the outcome that you desire. So when you're posting, we're just going to keep about social media right now. When you're posting and you're going about social media, you have to think to yourself that social media is something that I'm doing for me, that I want to do, that I enjoy doing, and something that I will continue to do. And if I get famous and I get viral, great, but that's not why I'm doing it for me. And if I don't get viral, whatever, I'm still doing it for me. You have to know that whether good outcomes or bad outcomes happen, you're doing it for you to make sure that you are in control of what happens. Because if you put the opinions of your account and what you think the account is going to come out to be based off the opinions of somebody else, let's say that person thinks that your account is cringe. One, so what, it really is bad. But two, if that person thinks that your account is cringe and you look at them and you start thinking that they are actually valid to think that your account is cringe and make opinions about it and try and push you to stop posting, you are not going to be successful. If you put that mindset or that energy and position in the hands of that person, that's their opinion of what you're doing is going to be the outcome. So if you look at this person and you're like, oh, this is so cringe, and you're like, oh, you're right, this is really cringe, why am I doing this? You are going to stop doing social media, which is something that you actually loved doing. So we have to avoid this because nobody should be in charge of jeopardizing things that could have made us happy or things that could have granted opportunities in our lives but us. And we cannot let other people's perceptions of what we are doing, what we love, and what we enjoy affect what we do with those events. So now that we understand a little bit more about why this is a bad thing, let's talk about more how to get into that mindset, because like all mindsets and all habits, it's hard to break into them at first. So first off, let's just talk about not getting views, okay? I've had my fair share of this. Even as I'm recording this video right now, I don't know if I'm gonna get views or not, but we have to remember that views are not a judger or validator of our strengths and our shortcomings. No matter how good we are, no matter how bad we are, the views are always going to vary. They're not in our control, and they are not dependent on how good we are and how bad we are. That's not to say that you shouldn't try in your videos and try and be better every time that you post, because making quality content will push more viewers. But if some days you don't get views and some days you do, that's not because you're necessarily bad at what you're doing. It's just because you didn't get the views. And so we kind of have to affirm this in ourselves. That's what I do. I do robotic affirming. So whenever I believe something and I'm trying to change my mindset about it, I would just look into the mirror and I would just say the opposite of it. So let's say my views are what determine my value. If that's what I subconsciously believe and that's what's holding me back from posting content that I feel is good, because I'm posting what I think is successful for somebody else because they're getting views and I think my worth depends on those views, I'm going to switch that now, and in the mirror I'm going to go, you are worth more than what your views on your videos are. Your worth is not determined by what the views you get on social media are. You are more than your views. You are not your views. Your views have nothing to do with how good of a person you are, So if you just start to get into that habit of just affirming and affirming and reciting those statements for yourself every day, then soon enough your brain will actually just flip and you will believe it. And then also, if you put those situations to God and you pray to God that He will heal you and help erase those kinds of limiting beliefs from your mind, that works. Prayer works. Like, prayer is actually so much more powerful than people take prayer to be. Prayer works numbers. So if you're not a religious person, that's your business. But if you are, just know that your prayers aren't going unanswered. Your prayers are not going to listen to. God is listening to your prayers and He is hearing your prayers. So you should put those struggles to God as well. Sure, work on it by yourself, but also if you're having trouble, look to your Creator, look to God, because He will help you get through those things. Now, so we have robotic affirming. Robotic affirming, we already know can help. But now, if we're not doing good and time goes a long time, we're going to get undetermined. I can't really think of the word right now, but we are going to unmotivated. We're going to be unmotivated. Well, sometimes it takes time. Quite literally, I am on my journey right now. I have 7 subscribers on YouTube, 100 followers on TikTok, and 35 followers on Instagram, and 20, I think, on Pinterest, and 60 on Snapchat or whatever. So I am not a big social media influencer like I one day dreamed to be, but I know that all of this slowness is a part of the process. I've been posting for some time and now I'm actually getting views. I'm seeing progress, So we kind of have to just remind ourselves that that it's going to take time, and it's not all going to be handed to you on a silver platter, and it's not all going to be given to you easily. You will have to work for it, and you will have to trust that your process is what is right, and the way that things are going, no matter how quickly or slowly that they're going, is yours, and it is a path that you were made to follow. And so you just have to trust that whatever is going on in your life is correct in leading you to where you need to be at the time that you need to be. So that's why that's how I go through it. That's why even though now I'm acting like I'm having a big following and a big subscribers list, because I'm confident that I will get there. So I'm speaking mannerisms that I have with those. And so even though sometimes I might feel unmotivated or I might feel distraught or like, oh, maybe this isn't what's for me, I just need to trust my God and His plan for me. And I just need to remind myself and take a deep breath and just remember that my path is correct and the timing of the path is correct. And so that's what I do. I just remind myself, I just stop, I take a break, and I'm just like, okay, I know things are going rocky right now, and I know things are slow right now, but at least they are in progress. And that leads me to my second point. slow does not mean nothing is happening. The work taking a little bit more time to work its way out doesn't mean that it's not working its way out. For example, let's say you are building a house with, you're building a house actually by yourself. When you're putting the first brick down, it's going to feel like forever until you build your house. Until you have the final product, it's going to feel like it'll never happen. It's so far, so unreachable. But if you keep that strong mindset and you keep adding brick by brick to your foundation and then to your walls and then to your interior and then to your roof, very soon you will look and you'll be like, I have a house. And we just have to remember that like wherever we are in our paths, it'll always seem like we're so far away from our goals. But not only are we closer to our goals than we actually realize, but our goals are always working for us. So just because we think it's slow and we think it's never gonna happen doesn't mean that it's not actually happening. And it doesn't mean that it's not constantly working to happen at the pace that it's supposed to. And so when we go through our plans with social media and we post on social media and we don't get those viral amount of views and we don't get the 1 million subscribers right off the bat, which by the way is also really rare and I'm not gonna say impossible because nothing's impossible, but it is just really rare and unlikely. So if you are expecting to get really big really soon, I have some news for you. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that as you go through social media, we just have to understand that whatever we think is how whatever we think is like, I lost words, but wherever we think we are on our journey, we are closer than we know. And let's go back to the brick house to further prove this point. So let's say you're looking at your brick house. You only have 1 brick so far and you want to build a house. You might be like, oh my goodness, I am so far away from this goal. I literally have nothing. I am so bad at this. I should probably quit while I'm ahead. This might go wrong. This might take too long. I might not have enough time to do this. Yeah. But even though you only are actually seeing that brick, you don't realize that you still have the full amount of bricks that you need to build a house already made. And you already have like the paste composition makeup to stick the bricks together, and you have the blueprint to design the house, and you already have the resources to make the interior of the house. So even though you're only looking at that 1 brick and you're judging your journey based on that 1 brick that you have in front of you, you still have other factors working behind you that make you closer to your goal. Because you having 1 brick set down and all the materials you need to actually make the house is so much more further than when you just had the idea for a house and you had nothing and no plan of how you're going to create it or no materials to create the house. So we also have to remember that we might be closer than we actually think we are, and we shouldn't let the way that we view our journey and our progress on our journeys deter us from actually working on the goal and from pushing forward. Because as you have that 1 brick and you realize that you have your resources and you keep adding the bricks, sure, the journey might seem tedious and hard and terrible to work through, but once you get to the final place, it's actually going to be worth it in the end, and it'll actually be an even better outcome than you could have ever dreamed. And so I think this is what's going to wrap it up for this chapter, is that we just need to trust the timing of it and be able to not hold ourselves down by the way we think it's going to happen and just trust it as it is and let it flow. Okay, chapter 2. Haters. I don't think I actually talked about chapter 1 this video. So chapter 2, haters. So you've already established that your timing is right for you. You've let go of all restrictions that are holding you back from trusting the process. You've been trusting the process for some time now, and you finally made it big on social media. So now you've made it big. Obviously, haters are going to come and try to attack you and make you feel bad for being successful. So here's a little secret about haters. Haters are actually the most insecure people to ever roam the earth. And that might seem like a stretch, but it really isn't. Because as a person with your own life and your own goals and your own ambitions, why are you taking so much time to hate on someone else when you have work to do on yourself? If we all have work, and you're here, instead of focusing on fixing what you have to work on, you've let your work eat you up and you're hating on somebody else for them working on their work. Not only is that just mad embarrassing, but it's just projecting off your insecurities. So that's just why we need to look at haters, and instead of being like, oh, why are you hating on me? What did I do to you? You just need to look at them and pray for them and just be like, God, please help this person get through whatever it is that they're going through that is making them harbor so much resent and hatred and negativity in their heart that is making them act like this. It says it in the Bible that we should pray for our enemies, and while haters might not necessarily be our enemies, they see us as their enemies, definitely, because of home situations or something that they're jealous of, or something that's missing in them that they see in you that they don't like that they see it in you. Whatever it is, they see you as an enemy in some way, shape, or form. So we have to pray for those people and help relinquish them of that distaste. Now, if you're not a religious person, we just have to accept it and move on. You look at it and you just have to feel pity, dissect the comment word by word, and you will realize that it actually isn't about you at all. Especially if, well, hypothetically, we took a study of 1 specific hater. Let's say this hater you've seen a few times on your favorite celebrities. They always post about a person's race or a person's skin color. That's the same thing. A person's race or a person's food that they eat, or a person's weight, or a person's height, or a person's clothing style, or room style, or lifestyle, or the way a person speaks. But now let's just pick one, and let's just say that a person is hating on the fact that people don't wear loose-fitted clothing all the time because they feel that they're confident enough in their bodies to wear tight-fitted clothing sometimes. Now, this is not to say that people who only wear loose-fitted clothing are insecure. I'm not saying that, because if you feel confident in loose-fitted clothing, then that's your business. But I mean, if you're a hater and you feel insecure about wearing tight-fitted clothing, and so you wear baggy clothing, and you're hating on other people for wearing tight-fitted clothing. Okay, so let's say you notice that every time one of your celebrities posts with tight-fitted clothing, that hater posts a hate comment about them. So after seeing this, you will actually realize that it's all they ever talk about. Now, why is that? Okay, well, maybe they just have opinions about the these skin tight clothing. Let's go to their account, or let's look at them, since they must also wear skin tight clothing to have an opinion on skin tight clothing, right? But no, you look at their account, or you look at them in real life, and they've only worn baggy clothes their entire life. They only wear baggy clothes, and they just harbor resentment towards people who wear skin tight clothes. And so you look at them more, and you're like, okay, so maybe it's not the issue about the actual skin tight clothes. It's the person about the issue. The issue is about the person wearing baggy clothes who's hating on them. So once you find that out, what exactly is the problem, and you find out that it's the hater, pinpointing what exactly is their motive is just a little bit easier, because well, you take the baggy clothes. Why are you hating on clothes? It makes no sense. But then you also see that they also happen to talk about other people's bodies, or how they hate their body, or they'll post like events, TikToks about how they hate how they look in the mirror, or they have certain eating disorders, and they take all of that energy, and instead of working on it to try to fix it or just looking at it in a better light, they take it and turn it into negative energy and project that onto people who seem confident in their bodies because they want to bring them down to their level. That's all that there is to haters, is that they take you and they see you and they think that you're on a better level than them, so they will try and bring you down to their level. So when you read hate comments, instead of feeling offended, you just have to look closely at the actual comment, what it's saying, what it's implying, and just feel pity for them and move on with your life. Because also at the end of the day, it's not that deep. They are just a person. If a person loves you, they're just a person. If a person hates you, they're just a person, you know? So we just have to be wary that these are just people. You will meet people, you will have experiences with people, people will make you realize things that you should have realized earlier, people will make experiences for you, but you have to realize that they are inevitably just people in your lives. They are not the center of attention. They should not be the center of your attention. And you should prioritize harboring feelings of revenge or hatred towards a person, especially if that person is just being a person. But if that person is being a hater, that's even more reason not to pay them any mind, because that's not going to do anything but sabotage yourself and your self-perception.